Chapter 12. Walking seems an eternity. Supplied by the Faust River, the aqueduct seems to go on forever, and my legs begin trembling, but I stop every so often to allow the burn to dissipate. Being in the ruins of Egleaseon's castle, I know any moment something could emerge from the darkness, with the want to consume my soul. I smash some of the eye stalks in frustration. I walk for what seems forever and finally reach the inside of a large rounded chamber. A mass of roots hang from the ceiling like elegant chandeliers in an earthly ballroom. Skeletal figures hang suspended in the air like prey caught in a spider's web. Every direction is the beginning of a new passageway, some accessible, some demolished. Water passes easily through the open ones, while the ones laid with rubble collect vertical pools of water, like oblong vanity mirrors. My reflection stares back at me as I stand before one. It is the first time I have seen myself since yesterday morning, and I am disheveled. The scars beneath my eye are puffy and my hair is greasy, slicked back with wetness. The discoloration in my face is a mixture of blood and dirt, and my hands, shriveled like prunes, glow a pasty white. I wonder at the evil energy of this place, sucking the life from me in its own twisted way, feeding off me, surviving. Such is the evil of this place. The root of it never died after the castle fell. What would Diana say if she saw me in my present state like this, at the bottom of a dark, evil castle, all disheveled and hair a mess? If only I had told her the extent of my work, all the creatures I've slain, the evil places I've been, maybe she'd still be alive. She might have been better prepared for what had happened. She and Dorian could be somewhere far away, safe. But the image continues to haunt me, my hands pushing the wood through her heart. What sounds like voices howling off in the distance returns me to my present state. Holding my torch before me, the light gray color of the stones allow me to see further than usual. I follow the sound, burning cobwebs away in the process. I'm not sure how many passageways I traverse, but I know finding my way back is futile. Only the sound serves as my guide, and for what reason, I do not know. The tunnel eventually levels out, and my legs are grateful for it. With less water racing up the center, my boots have a chance to dry. They click along dry stone, footfall after footfall. After some time, I no longer hear my guide. The howling has abandoned me. Someone or something has taken its place, watching me from the distance like some anomaly. I move from the center of the tunnel, pressing my body firm against the wall. Yellowish eyes glow in the distance unlike eye moths I've seen. The glowing orbs move closer, and so I move back, arms reaching in the dark, searching for something, anything. A set of iron rungs protrudes from the aqueduct wall, and with haste I begin climbing. Every few steps I look down, checking below, but find nothing. I blink back the dust in my eye, and wonder at the wavering glow high above me. Hand over hand I pull myself along, tired and hungry, trying not to think of sleep. Outlined in the flickering light, I make out some sort of grate, small and circular in nature. I stop inches away and look through the small openings. Torches set in iron sconces line the length of a barren wall. Stones similar to the ones in the aqueduct make up the majority of its construction, yet they do not glisten with moisture. Surely Joachim must have been this way. Who else would need light to see? I imagine him dragging my son by the arms, unconscious, helpless, to some remote location of these ruins, to God knows what. My thoughts get the better of me, and I begin breathing fast. Get a hold of yourself, Wolfgang. Now is not the time to lose it. Snuffing my torch, I tuck it into my belt, and as I place both hands on the grate, I retract them instantly. A dark figure passes over, panting, tapping its way along the stone floor. More pass as I wait, taking shallow breaths to limit my sound. A snout appears and sniffs the air. Wet slime drips from the nostrils onto my shoulder. The figure passes back and forth, scratching at the metal. Whimpering and growling, it suddenly stops in response to howling down the hall. The beast has been summoned. It howls after its pack, leaving me unattended. They are daver hounds. Sick, demented animals left to wander the dilapidated halls of Egleaseon's castle. Half wolf and half dog, they once served as the cleaners to the dungeons, smelling the air for the blood and decay of victims, eating up the rotten remains of prisoners left for dead. I remember them well from years ago, when the Count's daughter set them on me, doing everything she could to prevent the union of her father and I, when I was welcomed here once and she betrayed that pact of honor. In the end, her attempts to kill me sealed her own fate, bringing my blade across her white neck, severing her immortal life forever. The walls were painted red that day, and the daver hounds ate what was left of her body. Hands back on the cold iron, I take a deep breath and twist. The seals give, and I cast the circular disc to the side. Pulling myself through the opening, I am left standing in a long, narrow hall, dust-ridden and full of cobwebs. Either direction seems an eternity, so I listen to my gut, following after the sounds of the hounds. The hall widens and becomes filled with decorations. Stepping over piles of bones, ducking under chains, I dare not chance my discovery to some ill-fated maneuver. Every step is crucial as I move through this decrepit place of torture. I pass instruments unknown to me, things conjured from the depths of hell. A throne made of spikes, a rack turning wheels. I notice bloodstains soaked through the petrified wood. Drapes of silk-spun sacks cover benches. Spiders crawl the black holes, and I am well reminded of Cordova Wood's inhabitants. Cage hangs from the dungeon's corners, imprisoning skeletons over the floating dust, teeth locked in eternal grins, their countenance bringing false joy, and I imagine them whispering their unforgettable deeds to those who would listen. Their heads seem to move with me as I pass, but I know they are long dead. Between the light dancing on the walls and the darkness consuming everything, it's a trick of the mind. Moving beyond this terrible place, the surroundings do not improve. Traversing corridors made of iron bars, these are the holding cells of the dungeon, riddled with flakes of rust and chipped paint. Braced upon a cell door, a skeleton remains propped upright by a set of prison keys in its bony hands. Its hands grip the key rings, as if it would die if it let go. There is rope tied around the wrists, and I wonder why it would attempt to re-enter a cell that it was no longer in. The howl of a daver hounds causes the hair on my arms to rise. I see their shadows moving along the far corridor in the distance. I cannot run anymore, and they will be on me in moments. As I grab the keys from the skeleton's hands, its body crumples, scattering bones across the floor. Prying its hands off, I cast them aside and attempt to turn the key in the hole. It doesn't work. I try again, shaking the contraption violently, and suddenly there is a click. With a groan, the door barely opens, and I wedge myself through. My satchel snags on a protruding hinge, and I struggle with it. It won't budge, and I force it to leave it hanging on the frame. Door clanging shut, key turned in the lock. The hall is flooded with daverhounds. For a second time this night, a gate has saved my life. Scrambling into the darkness of the cell, I watch the dogs tear into my satchel, ripping the bag from the strap, shredding it like a helpless animal. The beasts fight over its contents of dried pigskin. My water skitters across the floor, kicked away along with the torches. Watching the gray-skinned monsters finish off the last of my food, my stomach growls in response, despite how sick I feel. Some of them look around, sniffing the air, unsatisfied, hoping to find another meal, and that's when I notice the veins that run shallow below the surface of their skin, purple and red. They protrude superficially, oozing blood from their backs, dripping onto the floor. One howls, then the rest follow. The pigskin is all gone, and suddenly I realize that was what they were after. Slumped against the back wall, tucked away in the shadows, I welcome the comfort of the cold cell, for I am tired beyond thought. My eyes flutter, and I struggle to keep them open. Images of the hounds pass my vision, running up and down the hall in a frenzy. Sniffing the air again, they seem to have found something new. Darkness comes quickly. Listening to the howls of the daverhound echo through the halls lulls me to sleep.